Happy Father's Day. Also, we are moving from spring into summer, so the solstice will be tonight. And I think Mountain Standard Time is about 8:30 tonight. Yeah, it's hard to believe summer's not already upon us, considering the weather. So this morning, I've chosen a wonderful, wonderful topic to talk about. It's called the qualities of great ones. So hopefully we will be inspired and not think about the weather. The hierarchy. This is the first place to start thinking about great ones, because the hierarchy is composed of many great ones. And this is interesting. Interesting to me because people who come from a strong religious background seem to default their thinking that members of hierarchy are a religion or form a part of religion. But this is not so. They are from all religions, not just one, but they are also, the members of the hierarchy are also great saints, great masters of literature, art, science, philosophy, even politics, and education. When people write about the hierarchy, they give the impression that hierarchical members are all religious people, Christians, Buddhists, Muslims, but they are not. So this is an important point to remember if your thinking has followed that line of thought. They belong to the whole. Members of hierarchy belong to the whole. What a great understanding of the members of hierarchy, that they belong to the whole. We don't live in a society today where everyone belongs to the whole, because our minds still think, my country, my religion, your religion, my family, your family, and so forth. So we still have ways to go. But members of hierarchy, they belong to the whole. They do not have any ism, any color, any belonging here or there. In other words, world universality is their soul. They are universal. So we can understand great ones as heroes to humanity. In our threatening times, we need spiritual, self-sacrificing workers. We need enthusiasts. We need heroes. We read in the books of Agni Yoga about the importance of heroes and heroines as sources of inspiration, to study the biographies of the heroes and heroines throughout history. Helena Rourke, in a letter to one of her students, wrote this. She said, "The last words of the great spirit Plato to his brothers when he was leaving the earth was, 'Create heroes.' He said, 'The time has come when we all must be heroic and must create heroes.'" It is good to read heroic stories to our children, to help them build a foundation of courage and daring. To learn about the history, the biography of heroes can impress our children, and of course ourselves, with the importance of serving others. Great ones are those heroes and heroines that have special qualities, qualities that keep them on the path of sacrifice and dedication. For example, great ones are totally dedicated to ideas. how does such realization help us? Well, as we strive to express the pillars of Agni Yoga, we are endeavoring to express the qualities of the true self. As we begin to manifest the qualities of the true self, we are taking direction, taking steps to becoming either a hero or a heroine. So this means that we must find an idea to dedicate ourselves to, something that is higher than we are at present. Ideas such as the art of thinking, the art of thinking. So many people like to be heard, but they can't yet hear. They like to be heard, but they can't yet hear. And I really believe if we can build upon the idea of thinking, the science of thinking, not as an abstract psychology, but as a practical fundamental of memory, attention, and concentration, we're going to have more people that will hear rather than want to be heard. Just think about that. I want to hear rather than be heard. Also, some practical fundamentals of an awareness of the past is important. An awareness of the far-off worlds is important. An awareness of the subtle world and an awareness of the hierarchy. These are ideas. All of these awarenesses are ideas inherent in the foundation of our concept of life. And as soon as we absorb these ideas, the most ordinary life is going to be transformed into a beautiful reality. This is so inherent to our thinking as members of the Ageless Wisdom, students of the Ageless Wisdom, those of us that are on various spiritual paths that instinctively recognize and understand these great heroes that make up part of the hierarchy. At the same time, many of these members are so embarrassed about their awareness that they hide their awareness from their family, from their friends, from their community, because it's not mainstream. And I'm of the opposite thinking. Let it become mainstream. Let your awareness ignite the awareness of others to think about the past, to think about and become aware of the, especially of the far-off worlds. An awareness of the subtle world, an awareness of hierarchy. And the way we can do it is introduce these ideas through our heroes, such as Plato and other great ones. They were born with the knowledge. They didn't read about these ideas. They were born with these ideas. As disciples, as teachers, as parents, as grandparents, it is our responsibility to provide as many opportunities as possible to our young ones where they will be inspired with higher ideas, creative ideas. I was thinking about the many children that have gone through our White Mountains Little Pilgrims program, and how almost every single one of them, when they became teenagers and began to share their awareness of the other worlds, of karma, of reincarnation with their friends, they became censored by the parents of their friends, and they lost their popularity, and so they left the path. that means that we as parents and grandparents are not doing a good job. It means that there's some kind of doubt within ourselves that we are unable to talk about our awareness in our strongly held belief system. And that's fear. So if we are too fearful to talk about our beliefs, then let's present the ideas of these great philosophers, great scientists, great teachers who were born with the awareness of karma and reincarnation, of philosophy, of the subtle worlds, of the higher worlds. It is our responsibility to expose our young ones to the great ones, to their biographies. Let the young ones read about the various incarnations of the great ones so they can begin to dream about future ideas. In the Agni Yoga book, New Era Community, it reads, "Let children call themselves heroes and apply to themselves the qualities of remarkable people. Let them be given books of clear account where the forces of hard work and of will have been portrayed without any soft coatings." The Master Moria says such material must be given without delay. The second quality of a great one is regeneration. How were they able to regenerate themselves? Regeneration, what does this mean? For example, when difficult times, and you can compare yourself, maybe not in as grand of way as these great ones and their ability to regenerate themselves, but at our level of beingness. Think about this. When difficult times came into the life of a great one, they never lost their balance and power, their spiritual power. They endured, no matter how difficult their life was. The teaching says that your value is equal to your endurance. Your value is equal to your endurance. How much can you endure those forces that are against you, that are against your mission? The mark of a great person is their ability to stand steady in the storm. They never give in, they never give up, no matter how difficult things have become for them. People who have a mission, a spiritual mission, realize their vision will be met with opposition. Depending upon the scope and importance of their mission, they can experience resistance or opposition from their family, their community, their nation, or even a world group. So no matter how difficult are the times you find yourselves in, never lose your balance. And don't give away your power. See, this is so important. Most of us are still learning these things. But once learned, we take it into the next life and the next, and it builds upon itself. So when you think about giving in or compromising to those who are in opposition of your thinking or opposition of your life purpose, and you see yourself compromising a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, remind yourself of who you are. Remind yourself that you don't want to lose who you are and what your awareness makes your beingness to be, and stand steady in the storm. And then think about your next life. that you're taking what you've built within yourself today into your next life and next life. And pretty soon, the wisdom teaching will be mainstream. So the third quality of great ones is the power to inspire people. Great ones have that power. Thousands of people receive inspiration from them throughout the ages, not just for 10 or 20 years, but for generations and generations and generations. No matter if people crucify them, bury them, burn them, it does not matter. Think of Joan of Arc. How long ago she was burned at the stake, and how she is now a heroine. I cannot pronounce that word. Heroine. There you go. The spirit goes forward. They regenerate themselves. For example, proof of the pudding. We have lists of the various incarnations of Helena Rourke. Take out the names of some of her incarnations and read the biographies. And you can see her path from one incarnation to the next, to the next, to the next. They become our source of inspiration as we travel the path of illumination. So they regenerate themselves. When we read about the life of Helena Rourke, for example, of her pains and sufferings, of traveling India back in the early to the mid-1900s, of camping in the high altitudes of the Himalayan mountains in sub-zero temperatures, of undergoing slander and treason by some of her co-workers, by heads of state, turning against herself and her family, she never turned back. She never doubted. She knew who she was and what her life purpose was. And as a result, we now have her examples to inspire us. And the teachings of Agni Yoga, the master gave to her for the world. Another quality of great ones is the quality to love and to sacrifice. This is a great quality. Are we ready to try to exemplify the life of a great one, but in smaller measures? Try it. Can you find someone and really, really love that person unconditionally? Can you take half of your month's income and give it to someone who is working for the plan of hierarchy? We also see in great ones intellectual qualities, insight and foresight, and the quality to control situations. This is interesting, so I'm going to repeat it. We also see in great ones intellectual qualities. They have insight and foresight, and they have the quality of controlling certain situations. Then we see the quality of not losing their heads in turmoil. This is why we call such great ones the heroes of humanity. Think of your father or your mother. Think of your teacher. Have they demonstrated such qualities, insight and foresight, or not losing their heads in turmoil? If so, they gave you a good foundation. If not, you still have the examples of great ones to emulate and see how successful you can be. What gives great ones their inspiration? And we can ask ourselves the same question: what gives us inspiration. Where does our inspiration come from? Vision. It comes from vision. We discover that the higher the vision, the greater that person is in consciousness. A vision is one that is not limited to your personal life, to your personality life. A vision is one that includes yourself, your family, your nation, humanity, and all living beings. That is a true vision. So this isn't something that you envision to make yourself important or popular or other verbs and adjectives. Such a vision comes from your higher self, from your master, and other sources. This is an important point. People think they have a vision, but in reality, they do not unless their vision is all inclusive. This is something to think about because I have, and I think of them in my small circle as I think of all the individuals I know that have established spiritual groups that are no longer functioning. They've dissipated, they've disappeared. And where there are always, and I know some of these exceptions and the causes of these exceptions, the majority of those that founded such study groups or spiritual centers was because it was self-centered. It was not other-centered. Vision is a calling. For example, the first book of Agni Yoga is titled what? The Call, exactly. The Master M says in verse or paragraph 134, recognize the call even in the fall of the rose petal. Life is full of calls. The fire of the call brings you to the summit of the mysteries. I'm going to read this again. I know it's really powerful and symbolic and esoteric and inspirational. He says, recognize the call even in the fall of the rose petal. Life is full of calls. The fire of the call brings you to the summit of the mysteries. Eager to serve, you will ask, when will the call come? The Master answers by telling us about being vigilant. He says, be observant. And just in the day-to-day, not just in the day-to-day life, but even sleep vigilantly. The aspirant will ask, well, how shall I carry on until the time comes? The Master says, by improving the quality of your work. There are other callings as well. The teaching explains that we have 4 approaches to visions. The first is we have borrowed visions. A borrowed vision is, for example, when our parents give us a vision and we say, okay, I will follow you, follow what you are telling me to do. So that is a borrowed vision. But these are cosmetic visions. And some people are given such visions and they follow them. It is better to have a borrowed vision than nothing. You cannot have a vision until you hear that call. So no matter what you think and what you fabricate and what you give claim to, the Master says you cannot have a vision until you hear that call. Once you hear that call, this is no longer something that you've read about. It's something that you know. It's now part of your beingness. You have heard the call, and in hearing the call, you have the vision. The call is a demonstration of what you can be in the future. It is a vision that makes you transcend yourself. Every vision is a path toward the Almighty presence. So think big. Think big. Every vision is a path toward the Almighty presence. The second kind of vision is having a call. We hear that call and we see in the future what we can be, what a world we can create. That is the vision. We hear that call and we see in the future what we can be. It's like, for example, in certain of the major religions, if you want to become an ordained this or that, you will stand in front of their council and they will ask you, did you hear the call? And then they will have to show and prove and demonstrate how they heard the call. And are they ready to make a commitment to that call? So that's a religious, process for some religions. But you don't have to wait to hear a call until you are in a church, or in a religion. This goes way beyond religion. It goes way beyond anything that has division in it. Are you ready to give yourself to the world? We hear that call and we see in the future what we can be, what a world we can create. This is the vision. The third approach is to then actualize the vision. This is the labor. So people tell me, I have this idea, I want to do this, I can't get it off the table. I can't get it moving. I can't bring people in to help me manifest the vision. What am I doing wrong? You haven't heard the call. This is something the personality desires. Because when you hear the call is a magnet. And that magnet begins to magnetize those who hear the echoes of the call. It's not you going out and fishing them back in on your pole. And putting it in your bucket. It's not that. You have to suffer for your vision, or you do not have vision. Unless you sacrifice for your vision, you do not have a vision. It is not easy to do these things, especially in today's society, and even more so back in the time of Helena Rourke. Especially if you are a woman, and if you live in a country where materialism is predominant. However, I do believe very much in what Agni Yoga says, and that we already see coming into existence, which is the new era. We are told that the new era, the new epoch, is the era of the woman. In the near future, we will see women, college-age girls, going on vision quests, where they will go on retreat for a month, a week, a year, allowing their inner guidance to reveal their calling. We will see more and more skilled, intelligent women taking leadership courses rather than majoring in home economics. And the fourth vision is very interesting and takes some thought. The fourth vision is a vision that is actualized. This means that you have become your vision, that you are the vision. You do not need to borrow a vision to have a vision or to strive for it, because you are now the vision. You see this with great ones. They are no longer striving for the vision. See, they are the vision. They do not have visions. That is finished. That is the past. They are the visions. When you touch them, you touch the vision. Isn't that interesting? For example, Christ said, "Those who see me see the Father." If you touch them, you see the all. They present the future to us. They are the embodiment of the future. So, okay, do you have a vision? What is the purpose of your life? Did you come here to make money, or to find a spouse, or a partner to take care of you? Is that your vision? Is that why you came to earth? Why did you come? This is an important question to ask yourself, no matter your age. If you are 20, you can ask yourself this question. If you are 50, you can ask yourself the question. If you are 70, you can still ask this question. Why did I come? As we get older and retired, now you want to begin considering your next life and what you are going to do in your next life. What is your purpose? Do you have a purpose? For example, can you plan that one day you are going to say, you know, I am ready now to give my life for my vision? Am I ready now to give my life for my vision? Do you have that vision? You are so fortunate. We are so fortunate to have the teaching. Are you aware of that the majority of people do not realize that they have a purpose? That there is a purpose to coming into this life, into this incarnation. But you have this knowingness. And in that knowing, you're going to say, you know, I am ready now to give my life for my vision. Sometimes when people retire, or when they are financially independent, they will write to me or tell me they are now ready to serve the group, to support the vision of the group. And this is a gift to the group, because in every instance, they are dedicated people. They do not come here to argue, to be recognized, or even to be paid. They come to serve the vision. What they do not always realize is that they have in reality come to serve the plan of hierarchy, the great ones. Just like those men and women who were drawn to the Rorks and the vision of the Rorks, they were called. These men and women were called to the vision of the Rorks. Their soul were magnetized with this vision, and they came to serve the plan of hierarchy. Once you have a vision, then you need to attract people who are called to the vision. People are called to see the vision of the group. They are called to the vision of the group, and when they are ready, make plans to support this vision in any way that they can. They will give us their experience, their expertise, their time and energy to manifest more and more aspects of the vision of the group, such as writing books and articles, editing and proofreading the books, serving in leadership roles, teaching, or even working on themselves for self-betterment. Christ has the vision, and the proof of it is that he crucified himself for that vision. He could have escaped, but he did not. He wanted to show us that he could suffer and pay everything that he had for his vision. If we have such people, they are going to change the world. So don't compromise. Don't compromise. At wherever station in life we are, if we have an awareness of hierarchy, an awareness of the dedication and sacrifice these great ones brought to the planet as visionaries, they did not compromise. They did not, and let us not. Talking about the vision does not help, except when we start doing something for it. Because as he became, we can also become. If you have a vision, that vision will slowly penetrate into you. First, it will organize your body, your health, your environment. Then it organizes your emotions, your relationships. Then it orchestrates your mind. See the process. So having a vision results in a process where in the beginning it organizes your body, your health, your environment, then it organizes your emotions, your relationships, and then orchestrates your mind. You're no longer a person that's halfway or light-minded. Eventually, it lights your flame, this vision lights your flame, and you start communicating with that vision. Once you start communicating with your vision, your life must change. One of the visions of Christ was to make people understand how to be immortal and to have eternal life. Christ said, I came to bring life and the eternal life. What is that eternal life? Eternal life is immortality. It is conscious immortality. When you came into our Asvara sanctuary today, and when you leave, you know that you came and left. In physical consciousness, you have that, but when you die, you do not know where you are entering, from where you are coming, because your consciousness is not yet in a state of continuity. And this is why we have meditation and concentration and contemplation. And this is why we undergo the disciplines given to us in the teaching for purification. Christ wants to teach us how to build continuity of consciousness on any level, in any place, and everywhere, while keeping your identity and your continuity of consciousness. That is immortality. We live very close to Sedona, Arizona. If you ask someone in Sedona where they came from, you're going to get many answers in the bazaar. It is the bazaars of Sedona, everybody there knows where they came from. They came from Venus. They came from Uranus. They came from the moon. They came from Egypt, where they were kings and queens. But the irony is now they have no pennies. They can't pay their bills. But here we are talking about the real mastery of the unity of consciousness, and that can be achieved if you are not trapped in such stupid things. So these are the visions of Christ, and we are equal to our vision. Vision creates sacrifice, and vision demands much from us to sacrifice, and eventually to let go of everything in us that does not correspond to our vision. You see, we are stuck holding things that do not have any value. We sell our eternal vision for such small things. So let it go and release your attachment to those little things, petty worries, selfish ways of living, and feel your freedom. So I'm going to close now, and I'm going to repeat what I said when I started. The hierarchy is composed of many great ones from all religions, great saints, great masters of literature, art, philosophy, politics, and education. When people write about the hierarchy, they give the impression that hierarchical members are all religious people, Christians and Buddhists and Muslims. They are not. They belong to the whole. They do not have any ism, any color, any belonging here or there. World universality is their soul. They are universal. We can understand great ones as heroes to humanity. In our threatening times, we need spiritual, self-sacrificing workers. We need enthusiasts. We need heroes.